Hey guys, it's Bailey from Making Up the Midwest, and it's time for some monthly favorites. So if you want to see everything that I've been loving in the month of March, please continue watching. First, let's start with the bases. For foundation, I have gone back to an old favorite, one that I think ended up in a favorites video a few months ago, right when it first came out, even before that. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Mousse Foundation, and when I originally got it, it was a tad too dark for me. This is 103 True Ivory, so I went and got the lighter one, but recently I have been self-tanning in time for spring and summer, and so I've gone back to my 103 just in case you're wondering for a color reference. I came back to it because earlier in the month I had been experimenting with some lighter coverage foundations, concealers, things like that, and I found myself just wanting a nice, clean, full coverage slate. And as I was going through all of my foundations, I came across this and remembered how much I loved it, tried it again, and like rekindled my love for this. So I'm back on this, really liking it. Also talking bases here, I have been working on a concealer palettes video, and in doing so have come across one that just stuck with me all through the month of March, and that is the M Cosmetics Shade Play Concealer Color Mixing Palette. Mine is in the shade Light, but you can see inside here it comes in the normal M Cosmetics palette packaging with a nice large mirror, but then inside you have 6 pots, large concealer, a highlighter, 2 kind of color correcting shades, one with a deep orange kind of peach base and one with a more yellow base, and then one that's for me truly a concealer. Now I have been using the concealer pretty much every day in my under eye area and to conceal other areas around my face, as well as the highlighting shade in this palette as well. But what I found is that this center shade here matches my skin tone perfectly, or my pre-self-tan skin tone perfectly. So what I found myself doing on days when I didn't have a lot of time is I would take one brush and use this entire palette to do my whole face. I would use the center all over, use the lightest shade here to conceal. You have your highlighter there, you have a color corrector if you have any blemishes or anything around your face or under eye circles. It's really a full face palette in one. So just for the days I needed to get in and out and on with my life, this has been my best friend. I have a similar story for the brow product that I have. Again, have been working on like a top 5 brow product video for ages, I feel like, and in doing so have come across one that stuck. That is the Sonia Kashuk Arch Alert Brow Kit. There is no shade for this because, as you can see here, there are 4 different shades within one palette. You have one for a blonde, one for what's a little more red undertone here, and then 2 different browns. I mix these 2 to get my perfect brow shade, but that's one thing that I love about this palette is that you can mix them all. If you like to dye your hair, or if you just have very multifaceted hair, like you have a little bit of blonde with red or brunette with red, you don't have to buy multiple different pencils to get your perfect color match. You can mix and play with these. Additionally, the texture is a cream but has a waxy consistency, so it not only helps you fill in your brows, but it also helps your brows stay in place throughout the day. You know me, I love a good multitasker, so that really cinched it for me. I have loved this palette, and I like to apply it with the Real Techniques brow. I think this is just the brow brush, and when I initially got this, I thought it was a little too thick for brows, especially when getting this outer brow corner, whatever this is called, this business. I thought it was a little too thick for that, but ultimately I think it does a really good job. So I don't know what I was thinking, but this has really grown on me, and I really like this and this together. Now let's get into more all over face products. This one is new to me this month and new to everyone this month. You probably saw my review on it. It's the Too Faced Bonjour Soleil palette, and inside you get what do they call it? They call it your summer bronzing wardrobe, because that's exactly what it is. Inside you get a matte bronzer, their Chocolate Soleil bronzer, which is the deep counterpart to the Milk Chocolate Soleil. You get the Sun Buddy bronzer, which is a shimmery, you actually get 2 tones within this bronzer, but this is a lightly shimmery bronzer. And then you get Snow Bunny, which is, for all practical purposes, a highlighter. Now you wouldn't think that you would need 3 products to do some simple bronzing, but I find that in using all of these 3 together, and I just did a tutorial where I showed you how to do that, you get so much more depth to your face than if you were to just use a contour or just use a bronzer or only have blush and highlighter, something along those lines. Using all 3 of these just creates a really healthy, more natural glow, I find. But I am very fair naturally, and so that's part of the reason that I self-tanned, was because I found that this Chocolate Soleil bronzer was a little bit too dark for me. So to prepare for spring and summer and using this all spring and summer, I've started self-tanning. For eyes, I've been all over the place for the month of March. I've been using what I consider to be the counterpart to that bronzer palette. This is the A La Mode Eyes palette, but mostly from this, I've really liked the neutral shades, specifically these highlight shades, which I'm sure seem super boring because they are just like shimmery, but the shimmer is so fine and beautiful that when you have it on your inner corner or your brow bone, it's just so subtle, but the perfect amount of reflection or illumination, whatever you want to say. It's just beautiful, especially for the spring and summer. I have been using a lot of these other more natural shades in here as well, but just been hitting these highlighters really hard. When it comes to colors, what I've actually been using is the Shade Play palette in Shanghai Lavenders, and I've really been loving all of these shades to go into spring, to kind of transition from the soft neutrals that I've been wearing in winter to softer pastels and pretty purples for spring and summer. Specifically, this huge shade in the middle, there's a reason they give you so much of this color. It's because it's gorgeous and you're going to want to wear it all over your lids all the time, every day. It's beautiful. It's this purple or this lavender gold duochrome. I don't think the swatch that I'm going to show you is going to do it any justice. It's just beautiful. And then alongside that, I've been liking the lightest lilac in this palette, as well as the deep kind of blackened purple shade as well for some light smoking in the outer corner. And nearing the end here, last are the lips. These are Milani lipsticks. I'm so late to this party, but these are the only two from the line that I have. They are Fruit Punch and Flamingo Pose. Flamingo Pose is more of a hot pink coral. In fact, it pretty much matches my shirt shade. Well done. And Fruit Punch, I would say, is a bold baby pink. Both are unbelievably smooth and creamy. They are total, whatever hype you've been hearing about these on YouTube, I would say all of it's totally correct. They are a fantastic formula that stay for a pretty long time on the lips. I would say 4 to 5 hours, and they do stain them a little bit. So even as the lipstick finish starts to wear off, the color and impact still stays even beyond that wear time. They are also, as many of us love and appreciate, very affordable and from the drugstore. So huge, huge favorites for the month. That is all for me. I'd love to hear what you guys have been loving in the month of March. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!